So we're in chapter 2 of Mesilat Yesharim. We're speaking about how a person has to be careful not to be an autopilot. A person has to be careful to be watchful of his deeds and to make sure that everything he's doing is correct and not incorrect. Because that's what the Paro, that's what he wanted to utilize, that they were busy working, no time to think where they're headed in life or what's their goal. As the Gemara says a story about Yossi ben Yoezer, who was about to be executed by the Romans. So he was being led to execution on a Shabbat, and his nephew was Yakum, who became part of the Romans and became like a goy basically, and he was riding a horse and he was taunting his uncle. He said, "Uncle, to Papa, you see what happened to you? The Romans got you. That's it. You and your Torah and your mitzvah. Look where it got you. Look where they're gonna go and kill you." So he taunted it. Look at the horse your master gave me, and look where your master is taking you. That's what he said to his uncle. So Rabbi Yossi, cool as a cucumber, he answered to him. He says, if somebody who transgressed the will of Hashem is so rewarded like you, imagine the person who does the will of Hashem, how much more reward they're gonna get. So Yakum said, "Oh yeah? So then if that's true, I don't know any more tzaddik person than you. And look what's happening to you. What are you going to say about that?" So he said to him right away, he says, and if this is what happens to the person who does the will of Hashem, imagine what's going to happen to the person who doesn't do the will of Hashem, like you. If this is what happens to me, what's going to be with you? So the Gemara says that Rabbi Yossi's words penetrated Yakum like the venom of a snake. He had a midlife crisis in that moment. He was just like, everything he knew shattered in that moment. He was just like, in a daze. He was like in a trance. He's like, I can't believe what he just said. He just broke me. So therefore, he decided on the spot to do teshuvah, and he said, I need to do kapara, and he said that I need to condemn myself to death for being so sinful. And he committed suicide using all 4 methods of his execution: skila, srifa, herek, henek. He jumped off the high place, landed on a sword, and then which had a fire underneath, while something was choking him. Yeah? So he was doing all 4 in one to get kapara. So then Yossi, he was having a vision, and it says that he saw that his nephew was being escorted into paradise, into Gan Eden. And he says, "Yesh koneh olamo sha'ar had," right? Famous Gemara, right? In one brief moment, he preceded me to paradise. Meaning to say, so many years of sinfulness. This guy was on autopilot, thinking, "I'm so smart. I joined the Romans. All this Torah is all full of baloney." Da 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 da. In the end, one moment he listened, he opened, he wanted to hear what Rabbi Yossi said, and boom, he got him, and he broke his whole thing, and he realized everything he was doing now was a mistake. He got off the hamster wheel. He just got off at one moment, and he realized everything was a mistake. And it happened to us too. Chas v'shalom. Now we're on the hamster wheel, going, and Chas v'shalom, we could be going for somewhere far off from where we're supposed to be, and we have to open our ears to Divrei Chachamim, and they'll help us hop off the hamster wheel and realize that we're making a mistake sometimes. There's people who are physically sleeping, and there's people who are spiritually sleeping, and they have to be careful to wake themselves up and pinch yourself. What day of the week is supposed to wake yourself up? Shabbat. And what does the Yitzhar do? Sleep. But Shabbat is supposed to be the one day a week we say, stop, get off the hamster wheel, wake up. It says the Hasidim, they say Shabbat is the same letters as Tashuv. It's Shabbat, the Shavta, you will return to Hashem. Take advantage of the day of Shabbat to wake ourselves up. You learn more Torah, you pray more on Shabbat, you're on fire for Hashem. You're supposed to take it with you during the week. And what happens when we say Shabbat? All that fire, Yesharim wants to take it away, waste it, do this, do that, shtayot, go out. Right? And when we were younger, you know where the Yesharim used to take us, want to take us when Motzei Shabbat. The worst places they want to take us Motzei Shabbat. Why? Don't let the fire of Shabbat continue during the week. And during the week, stay sleeping. Shabbat sleep, during the week, spiritually sleep. Person can get carried away with the meals, person can get carried away with naps, person can get away playing board games and miss the whole point of the Shabbat. So he says, constant preoccupation. Constant preoccupation is a strategy the Yetzer Hara uses against people, because it's a warrior. He knows if I let him breathe for 1 second, he's going to regain his strength. I can't let him breathe for 1 second, and that's what the pasuk says in Mishlei: Al titen sheina le'enecha. Don't give sleep to your eyes. nor slumber to your eyelids. Save yourself like a deer in the hand of the hunter. He knows if he constantly doesn't get you, if he makes you sleep for 1 second, then he got you. So therefore, what do you have to do, says Mishlei? Don't let it happen. You have to always be on your guard. You can't be spiritually sleeping. They bring, and you're allowed to learn lessons from these. There's a good lessons from this. He brings the Tversky over here, and Greek mythology. There's a story of a guy named Ulysses, right? Ulysses he was told about how there was this thing called the sirens. You know what the sirens are? These are mythical creatures. They're like mermaids, right? So they sing at in the rocks in the ocean, and the sailors pass by. They hear them singing, and they have such a sweet voice, so they're attracted to it. And then the mermaid looks enticing, and then they want to be with them. So then all of a sudden they take their claws out and they eat the sailor alive, right? So he heard about these sirens, that they're very, very beautiful music. So he said, I want to go listen to it, even though it might be dangerous. I want to go listen to it. So what happened? He stuffed the ears of his crew with wax, and he told them, and he tied himself to the mast, to the center of the boat, and he told them to go. So they went on a voyage, and the guys all have wax in their ear. They can't hear the music, and he's going to hear the music, but he's tied to the ship. So he gave the order to the crew to row to the place where they're supposed to go, and he told them not to deviate from those orders. Meaning, you got to listen to me. This is the orders from the beginning of the trip. Even if I tell you something else, I might go crazy. And tell you something else, don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. Follow the first orders I gave you. So then ignore me. So the sailors did it, and they tied themselves to the mast, and they were all oblivious. They didn't hear the sound, and they're going. And all of a sudden, he starts hearing the music of the sirens. So then he starts yelling. He starts yelling at them, pull over, go, stop, let's go talk to them, stop. And then they're all like, no, we have to ignore you, I'm sorry, we can't help you. They continued. So he struggled so much against the ropes, and so to try to get himself out, to tell him to change course, and then what's it called? And then he wasn't able to get out. So the crew eventually kept going to where they needed to go, and they left. And this Ulysses guy, he was so exhausted, he fell off. But what happened? He's so grateful that he didn't hold him. That they held himself, because if he would have broke through the ropes, he would have died. So therefore, he says that's why you have to be careful. That we're going through this world, we have a voyage, and there's a lot of enticing things on the way, and we have to know our ideals. We have to know to be spiritually awake, and I can't deviate from my values. And even though this might be enticing, that may be enticing, stick to your guns. And sometimes you need help of other people. Sometimes you need tzaddikim around you who already have wax in their ears. They know this stuff doesn't speak to them. That doesn't, wake up, come on, this is nothing. Come on, keep going. There's more important things in life. And if you don't know how to have this support system and surround yourself with these values and these people, so you'll fall every time. And you'll break. And what happens? You go and you listen to the music, and then they eat you alive, and then you have to rebuild yourself again, and then you become holy, and then all of a sudden you fall again, and they eat you alive. You've got to start over. So therefore he says, a person can save himself all this from being constantly on guard and realizing, what do I do with my free time? What do I do? What am I doing in the evening? What am I doing in the morning? Is that correct? Is that wrong? Is that right? The person just says, no, I have to go. I have to go to work. I have to go to this yeshiva. I have to go here. I have to go there. I can't. I have to. Nobody, exactly. You don't have to do anything. The question is, should you do it? Should you do it? That's a good question. But you have to. You don't have to do anything. The person has to know: is this going to be holy for me? Is it going to be good for my neshama or not? And he says, Pashudhu. It's very simple. It's clear that without Hashem's help, nobody could fight his Yesara. As it says that in Gemara Masechet Kiddushin, if a person would not ask for Hashem's help, he would never be. How could you beat an angel? You can't beat it. Yaakov Avinu couldn't beat the angel. How can you beat an angel? You need Siyata Dishmaya. So therefore, a person has to pray, Hashem, make me spiritual. Help me do cheshbon nefesh. Help me make order in my schedule. Help me make sure that I'm using my time wisely, and not go to Shamayim and they're going to say, oh, you wasted this, you wasted that, you wasted this. I don't want to be in that situation. The way that person wants to walk, that's where he will be led. The question is, which way do you want to go? Baruch